I've gotten quite sick this past week, so I haven't posted a video in the past 2 days, but I wanted to post something because I was reflecting on the business that I'm making and what I plan on doing with it. And one of those things have been, and I'm still struggling with, is getting past my fears. And though posted on uncertainty and doubt, like you must get past these things, obviously still as humans you struggle to do this because you grow up in a manner that truly prevents you from actually doing so. Like, I feel like everything and everybody has a set plan. They have a set way of life. They're going to go to work, they're going to do it, they're going to get a new job, they're going to go to school, go to college. And I'm not saying these are bad things, but you just feel so much more relieved because you have a set way of life. And I'm not saying entrepreneurship is something that you should be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and like glorifying it. But I feel like to do so, you actually have to get past things that make you uncomfortable. And whether this be public speaking or just making a phone call or doing whatever it actually takes, like taking action and doing so, that's when it actually gets hard. Because some people always say, let me make a business, but then they don't know where to start. But then since they don't know where to start, they plan forever and then they don't end up starting, and then it becomes a lost memory and they forget about it. And though I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, something that I've found and something that I've ran up upon is I'm quite scared at making phone calls and speaking to older people. And the reason why I feel like this is due to, I feel like there's an inferiority complex in my mind that makes me feel like I am less than the person that I'm speaking to. Like, I feel like just because I'm a 17-year-old or just because I'm an 18-year-old that I don't have the authority to speak to these people. And obviously this should not be a way of thinking, because unless I plan to get past that, I'm going to be stuck in a state of complacency and never progressing. Like, I've sent so many outreach emails, I've sent so many DMs on Instagram, I've contacted so many people, but the one thing that I haven't done was phone calls. And I believe that phone calls are probably the most important thing that you can do to actually grow your grow your clients and get leads and get prospects. Because unless you actually make a phone call, your email is going to get lost in their email dump, however that looks like, because I don't even know how to manage my email. And it's going to get lost in DMs because I don't doubt that countless people send DMs. So the only way that I can actually get past and actually acquiring a lead and acquiring people to do this is sending calls. Like, for me to work for people or for me to create products for people, because I don't like to say I work for people, I say I create products for people, because I don't work for anybody. I want to work for myself, but I'm going to help these people in doing so. And I'm going to do this for now until I can create a product that can truly manage itself and not need me to constantly be iterating or creating or doing whatever it may be. And I can actually focus on the business itself to help it grow. But for right now, for me to gain income and money flow, I need to start communicating. I need to start actually acquiring leads. And this is something that I find so uncomfortable. I don't know why, but I just find it so, I get so anxious. And I guess it's because I've grown up in a society where, or just me, I've grown up in a manner that I've been stuck in my room. I never spoke to anybody. I just grew up in my little shelter and never really took the time to go out and speak to people, and never really took the time to create conversation. So it's something I must get past. And though this might be an experience for me, you guys can probably get past this easily. But then there's other things that you guys must focus on that you might not know that you have to get past. Like, I was writing, and then I realized making a phone call is, or just speaking to people in general sometimes, is something that I don't want to do. Like, I avoid it as much as possible. And I noticed that I told myself, oh, I'm going to try to get a sales job because that's how I'm going to learn sales. But you don't learn to do things by getting a sales job. You don't learn to do things by getting a job in that field. You learn to do things by doing. Like, I don't need a sales job to learn how to do sales. I just have to begin by making sales. Like, I have to do it in any way, shape, or form. I just must begin making sales. And it's the same thing. Like, I don't need a business degree to make a business. I just have to make a business. So it is just this fluctuation of thoughts that keep on going in my head that make me so scared. But unless I can get past this, and unless I can actually take action into doing so, I'm going to be stuck in this exact same mindset. And since it's late, I've set myself a task to actually calling people tomorrow and actually helping my business grow, because unless I'm willing to make calls for people, I'm going to be stuck in this deep pit and this deep hole that my business is going to be stuck in forever unless I learn how to speak, unless I learn how to sell. And this is going to take time, but unless I learn to get past that, I'm never going to learn how to sell, and I'm never going to learn how to scale my business or even transform my business. I'm never going to create enough money. I'm never going to create enough revenue for me to help make it bigger. So though this may be a different video on, instead of philosophy and the way you should think in life, it's a little bit more on business, but I feel like it entails philosophy still and my way of thinking, because unless you get past something, unless you enter into a domain that you're uncomfortable with, you're going to be stuck in this constant thought of wishing you did, or the constant thought of understanding that if you do this, you know you're going to get outcomes, but you're just so scared of doing it right now. And that is how I feel at this moment. And I don't want to act like somebody who has infinite knowledge or knowledge superior to yours, but I feel like it is quite obvious. The only way to actually grow is to going into uncertainty and somewhere you're anxious about, something you were nervous to do. You must walk into that, because that's the only way you're going to grow realistically. You actually have to get past these things, or you're forever going to be stuck in the state of mind that what you have is enough in terms of business. Like, it's just not. Realistically, it is not enough. There's always something you can do to make your business better, scale it higher, especially if you're not in the hundreds of millions of revenue or profits. There's always something you can do to better yourself, and that is usually found through your uncertainty and your unwillingness to do something. So train your mind to get used to going into those set domains, because unless you do this, you're going to be stuck in the exact same spot forever, knowing that you could have done something more to increase your value or to increase your skills or to increase yourself in general. Like, I can speak to this camera, I can speak to my phone, but I can't speak to a person, and that's a problem once it comes to happen, and it's a problem once I avoid speaking to people. So I just understand that I must get past this so I can actually grow as a human being, and I can scale my business to a larger extent and actually create money and revenue and profits. And though it's not all about that, this is a skill essential to life. So stop being scared, stop being nervous, because that's how it starts. Then you become used to not having to do it. Then the starting part gets so much more nerve-wracking and causes you to be even more anxious. So just get used to doing what you want to avoid, or start slowly, or just get into it right away so you get it out of your system, and then you realize, I'm still alive at the end of the day. Whether you succeeded or you messed up, you realize that it wasn't that bad. Like, now that I recall, when I was younger, I used to be in a soccer team, and I really dreaded going to soccer practice, because especially the days that I knew we were going to run, I dreaded going to soccer practice. And I actually recall these days so much. I used to do everything in my possibility, or in my power, to prevent myself from going to soccer practice. And even though I loved it so much, the running aspect as a little chubby 12-year-old wasn't ever in my repertoire of things I wanted to do. So now that I think back, I did everything in my power to avoid it, which I couldn't because I was only 12 and my dad forced me to go. But once I finished running, like I ran infinite amounts, so much running. But then when I finished running, I realized I'm still alive at the end of the day. And that is a mindset I've kept in doing anything really. Like even in my high school soccer, I know that while I'm running, I'm not going to die. If I fail, I fail. And if I just keep on going, I'm going to survive. Out of these three outcomes, you notice that at the end of the day, you're still alive. No matter what you do, no matter what you say you're going to do, you're going to survive at the end of it. And you must understand that. So you must be willing to take risks. You must be willing to do something and create something out of yourselves. And if you're scared to do something, you must realize, usually, let's say you have nothing. Do it because you have nothing to lose. And let's say you have a loving family. Do it because that loving family is going to let you back into their house if you fail. Like whether you have nothing or whether you have something, you should still be willing to do it because you still have somewhere to go back to. Or if you have nowhere to start, you never had anything to start with to begin with. So you must just start and do what makes you feel happy or do what makes you feel uncomfortable so you can grow in the future to make yourself happy. And growth truly just comes from walking into uncertainty and something that makes you nervous, because that is where there's true trial and error. And you must embrace this for you to actually grow as a person.